welcome to the Heavy Newfoundland Podcast 3rd edition. Just like the last 2 episodes, we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. I apologize for the lack of episodes in the past 2 months, December and November 2016. However, I was very busy in my personal life given the Christmas season. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. This is a track from my best friend, Christopher Crane. This is The Voice of the Ancient Forest by Nemophilist. All right, well, we're starting the year off with a bit of dark ambient music. I know that it's not strictly heavy metal, but I do find that the genre is often related to black metal, and so that's why I decided to include it. That was a really, really pretty song, in all honesty. I'm not just saying that because Chris is my friend. I was genuinely impressed when I heard that track the first time. The next track we're going to have is actually from my own ambient project, Icefog. The track is called Yonder White Expanse. And speaking of which, I do need to start working on new material for that project. I've got a few ideas, but none of them have come to fruition yet. So anyway, here is a track from my project. All right. Well, we're really going for a sad theme here with the first few songs in this playlist. The next track is from the band Grimacing, who are at the forefront of the DSBM scene here in Newfoundland. They're one of the only bands that plays that genre of music in the entire province. Actually, I believe that this is the first metal release in Newfoundland in 2017, and it's this band's first song in quite a while, actually. The name of the track is The Will to Die, off the single of the same name. Okay, so be sure to check out the full single on the Grimacing Bandcamp page. They also included an acoustic version of Submerged in My Own Tears, which is the band's biggest song. Next up, we have a track from the most infamous band in Newfoundland, Anal Christ. This is a track from their 2012 release, I believe. Fuck You God. The name of the track is Forestrial Matricide. Brutal stuff, brutal stuff. You know, I've always been a fan of Anal Christ, and I think that is their best song to date. The stuff they've released since then has never quite reached that same level of aggression and hatred as Fuck You God managed to achieve. But, you know, their releases since then they're still good, you know. The next track we have is from a sludge metal band called Sinews, and it's from their debut and only release to date from last year. The name of the track is Vices.
American
All right, well, now it's time for the news segment of the show. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the release of a documentary on the HeavyNFLD YouTube channel entitled Those Who Dwell in Fog. Now, this is a movie that I started way back in 2012, and I've been working on it on and off ever since. So, it's taken me 5 years to make this thing. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's definitely satirical. It's more of a mockumentary than a documentary. Think something like This Is Spinal Tap. The movie is about a fictional record label called Amberian Blood Records, which features a bunch of different artists, such as Anal Christ and Defense Force. Now, the music that is featured in this movie and the bands that have made that music, they're all real. They all exist. However, most of that music is satirical in nature, which makes the movie more of a comedy. It's kind of apparent when you watch it and you just watch the interviews and the nonsense that many of the characters get up to, or many of the characters are saying. So it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours in length, and even though it's not the best movie, in all honesty, I am quite proud of it. It's quite an achievement to create your own feature-length film, especially after working on it for 4 years. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. In other news, I recently wrote a review of the EP Glass Spire from the Mount Pearl progressive metal band Dendron. Basically what I said in the review is that it's a good EP instrumentally. However, the vocals do need some work. So check that out on the HeavyNFLD blog if you have time. The biggest story, however, in most recent times is the inclusion of an interview with the band Allagash in the Newfoundland Herald. Now, this reminds me of when Winterhearth got the same treatment way back in early 2016. So it's really nice to see how heavy metal is getting recognition in the mainstream media here in Newfoundland. It's just really great to see that. So hats off to the boys in Allagash who, they make killer music and they definitely deserve to have their words in a magazine like that. Next up, we have our album releases. Now 2017 has just started, so we don't really have a whole lot yet. The first thing, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is Grimacing's The Will to Die, a new single from the band which features 2 tracks. Also recently released is the single from Winterhearth, the Metalheads Forever official anthem, which was written by the band specifically for that magazine, which is really cool, and it's really nice that they got offered to create an anthem for that. So just like with Allagash, hats off to the guys in Winterhearth. And we also have a remix from the song that we just played, Vices by Sinews, from one of the band's members, which is currently on SoundCloud and on the HeavyNFLD YouTube channel, so check that out as well. As for shows, there hasn't been a whole lot announced for January yet. On the 19th at the Levy, we have the Battle of the Bands, which is on the go. I don't know which bands are performing. I have not looked into that. I don't even know if they've been announced yet, but the event is on Facebook. And also on January 28th at the Rock House, we have Metal 2017 featuring Devastator, Allagash, and Category 6. And that's it for our news segment. Up next, we have a track from the band Puce, which features a similar member. Their bassist is the same guy who performs in Sinews. The name of this song is Joy is Pain.
Girl so kind.
All right, next up we have a song from the St. John's classic band Sheavy. These guys have been around for a real long time. I don't know if they're still around anymore. I'm sure the members are kicking around somewhere in the city. But this is a song from their second release, The Electric Sleep, and the song is called Last Parade. Our next band is a newcomer to the St. John's metal scene. Their name is Luminance. They're a three-piece, and their lineup consists of Adam Shar, who many know from the now-defunct black metal band Nightbreed, as well as his solo projects Bone Alley and Oxygen Chapel. I had the pleasure of filming the band's debut performance at the Rose and Thistle early in December, and it was a really great show. This song is from their debut demo, which is self-titled. The name of the track is Energy Chalice. Okay, well, I almost forgot to mention that I interviewed Adam earlier in 2016, so if you want to check out that interview, just head over to the HeavyNFLD WordPress blog. The next and last song for this evening is from one of my own projects. Again, this is the last track on the newly released Glacier Frost album, A New Dawn Over Once Dark Lands. The name of this track is Welcome Home. And that wraps it up for the third episode of the Heavy Newfoundland podcast. I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope you had a wonderful New Year, and I will see you again next month. This is Akhenaten, signing off.